Ronnie,
Celia,
wearing your beautiful pink shirt.
I got pink on. I got pink.
You got pink. All right.
How you are doing today?
I am doing. How are
You
you
are
doing?
doing. Sometimes I think to myself, we spend all our time and money and we write books for where is Waldo, but nobody ever asks how is Waldo.
Hold on. He's very, very alone.
He must be not. I mean, he's always buried in a sea of other people
Yes.
on the beach,
But
at
is
the
he talking
campsite.
to Is he talking to any of them? Does he have any friends?
Oh, he's always smiling and waving when you do find him. You're like, hey, there he is.
I guess.
Waving.
He doesn't look sad.
No, I think Waldo's doing all right.
Where is Waldo?
Why is Waldo?
Why is Waldo? How is Waldo? Okay, I have a question for you. What is responsible for the arrow of time?
Oh man, really?
I just wanted to see
Before
your
you go
reaction.
any further, you have to watch from beginning to end every episode of the Universe show with Professor Brian Cox from Manchester University. Because
All
he
right.
actually talks about the arrow of time. He uses
Yeah,
that expression too. And he talks about entropy and how,
I
things.
watched it. I watched it. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay, well then watch that and our show's over.
I actually really did just want to see what you would do if I asked that question because we did watch, my boyfriend and I watched The Fabric of the Cosmos, which is this Brian Cox special. And actually, it's Brian Greene. It's a Brian Greene special, another astrophysicist. And
Name is Brian.
yes,
Is he
Brian,
British too?
no, he's American.
Okay.
He's very talk show hosty, but
Okay.
he's great. And that was one of the questions. And I've never forgotten it. What is responsible for the arrow of time? And I'm
What did
always
he
like,
say?
if that he just like left that question open, like he was
Oh,
talking about the time space continuum and the fabric of the cosmos. And then it was this question that scientists don't have the answer to. What is responsible for the arrow of
I
time?
mean, who knows, right? Anything anyone says is pure speculation.
Yeah.
Even
What's
the
your best guess?
astrophysicists.
What's your best guess?
Well, I mean, you would have to go back to what we were talking about last week about something divine, some omnipotent, sentient force, whether it's a collective of everyone in the universe or if it's one thing. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't there,
Yeah.
but yeah, whatever it is, started it. Did it start? Who knows though? I mean, like I
Did it
sometimes
start?
my brain can't quite wrap around things. Like, for example, when we look, like they say, I don't remember the exact number, but like it's hundreds of thousands of light years from one side of the galaxy to the other. So, like, really, when we're looking at it and trying to map it, we're mapping the other side as it was, however many 100,000 years ago it was,
Yeah.
not what it's like now. So,
No,
how can we even have an accurate map of the galaxy?
we can't.
Right? We only know this little tiny area. I mean, it takes freaking 8 minutes for the sun's light to get to us, right?
Exactly.
And never mind the outer portion of the solar system. So when we're like looking into a black hole, if you believe Einstein, the closer you get and the stronger the gravity, the slower the time feels to someone observing, but the person in it feels like they're in the same time. And then if they were to somehow get out of that and come back to you, they would be young and you would be old because you were
Yeah.
the observer, you were watching it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that means if we ever do see a black hole, like if we were to get close enough to get to actually like observe one, not just take a tiny little red dot picture of one like we have now, um, we like what are we really looking at? Because whatever's coming at us got sucked in. Like
Yeah.
like the time too also kind of got stretched and stuff. So
Yeah.
what are we really looking at? What the hell is time then? If it can be stretched,
Yes.
yeah. So to say who's responsible for what is responsible for the arrow of time, we have to really, really, really define what time is first.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that Brian Greene was talking about, that the arrow of time is actually a human. I don't want to put words in his mouth, and I don't want to teach what he's teaching, but I'm just going to say how I got it. It's actually a perception, a human perception.
Mm-hmm.
We perceive time as an arrow. We perceive time as an arrow that's pointing in one direction and going forward. So
very linear.
But we do not actually know if that is how and what time is and how it moves or what it is. And so my question next is, have you seen Arrival?
Yeah, brilliant movie.
Okay. So I know I don't want to give it away to anybody, but one of the things it plays with is that time is not linear.
Right.
That they're actually, that the sequence of events that we are experiencing things in,
are circular, and that's how they talk when they kind of do their little cloud thing.
Yeah.
It's like a whole storybook all at once.
Yes.
So the beginning, middle, and end, and everything is all at once.
Yes.
So once she started to understand the language, she actually could like kind of not travel through time, but experience time at different places.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that arrow, that linear arrow.
So do you think, I know like sometimes I ask you these questions and you're like, well, I have no proof for that or whatever, but I'm more interested in like, is that something you think that human beings have the capacity, not currently, but that is, I mean, someone thought up that idea and wrote the screenplay and we all watched the movie and went, cool.
Yeah.
But my imagination tells me that that's actually a possibility, that time is, that all things are happening, I don't know simultaneously, if that's the right word, but in a nonlinear fashion, and that we just do not yet have the consciousness to experience it that way, but that at some point we will. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think at one point we will. We have to do some evolving first, though.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't think what the physical beings that we are right now can't do it.
No.
Absolutely not.
And yet, someone's imagination has capacity to present that idea. And on some level, like Arrival was pretty much universally acclaimed. Everyone's going, yeah, right? Like something is resonating.
You're absolutely right. But I mean, you could say the same thing about a lot of different, brilliant imagination ideas that ended up in movies like telekinesis or, a lot of these things that you can imagine them. And yes, the human mind is unlimited, really. But yeah, I mean, I really don't see us being able to do that. And then, don't forget too, there's the whole, like, yes, we could imagine ourselves like the way she started doing, where she, in her mind, she was kind of shifting through time and she found herself speaking to the Chinese general or whatever he was in the future, or no, in the past, and gave him a message, and then, or something like that. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. But I mean, like, are fleshy, bony human bodies even physically able to, traverse the timeline like that? Mm-hmm. Right? Or is it all just in our mind? And if it's all just in our mind, then it really, truly is fantasy and science fiction. Because I don't think our minds can do that.
And well, currently no. And then I'm like, well, what is the mind? And how did the person who came up with that idea come up with that idea? Did I already talk to you about this? This was another Brian Swimme, cosmologist, who talked about like Einstein coming up with the theory of relativity and how it was the cosmos dictating to Einstein how the cosmos worked.
That makes perfect sense to me.
It's not cool though.
Yes, very much so. It's like it's like that saying about we are the universe trying to figure itself out.
Yeah.
I mean, if all of the little atoms and synapses and everything in Einstein's brain was coming up with this stuff, it's the universe figuring itself out.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
just
And so
contained in this little German man's body.
exactly. And so the screenwriter or the imagination that came up with Arrival, I think of it as a similar thing. Like this is a this is a possibility. And yes, this person right now is considered a science fiction writer, but will there be a time in the future where they're like, and same with, Beam Me Up Scotty, like, will there be a time in the future where they're like, oh, the whatever Matron, what was that called?
Transporter?
Transporter.
Yeah, yeah. No, and there's yeah, with the transporter thing, I mean, they talk about it sometimes. I watched this one show anyways where they were, oh man, this is gonna they could actually get one atom to do the same thing as the other atom in two different places, and they can't explain the connection, and they
Yeah.
start kind of went and then they led into
Yeah.
transporters and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cuckoo caca. I mean, the universe, we only know, like, like who knows what we're really capable of doing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I watched this one show. Of course, you know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, and one of his Cosmos shows that I just watched, the more recent series that he has out, and he was talking about a photon, and when a photon, oh man, I forget how the beginning was, but when the photon goes one way, I have that book too. It's in my phone though. When photon goes one way, another one goes the other way, and everything that happens to one photon happens to the other photon, right? Like
Yeah.
they're identical, and they
Yeah.
could be on one end of the universe and the other. As soon as someone looks at it,
Yeah.
the tie is broken.
Hmm. I
It
know.
doesn't even make sense.
I
And
know.
then there's the whole thing too, where it was like when that first scientist set up like a green light, and then he had these two cardboard pieces with slits in them, and then
Yeah.
a final cardboard piece to
Yeah.
see if light was a particle or a wave.
Yeah.
And then basically they learned that it is a particle and it's a wave and it's neither.
Yeah.
But the only difference was if you're looking at it or not.
Yeah. I know. We watched that.
You
That's
see that
quantum
one?
physics. That's quantum physics at play and at work. And did you hear about this new discovery that antimatter behaves in the same way that matter does with gravity?
No, I didn't hear that one. That one's new to me.
They just discovered that. They just
I love
finally, this experiment that they've been working on with they built this like astronomical sized tower at the CERN in Switzerland to figure it out. And it's like years and years and years. And they're like, yep, antimatter drops at the same response to gravity the same way. Okay, 1 minute, go.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about something because you mentioned dark. Last week we were talking about DNA.
Yeah.
There's this stuff called dark DNA. I meant to mention that and I forgot. Yeah, you googly schmoogle that schmoogle.
Like dark matter?
DNA.
Dark
yeah, like
energy?
dark DNA. It's like the DNA that's there, but they can't prove it's there, but something must be there, and they called it dark DNA.
Well, it's like dark matter and dark energy, like making up 95 to 98%
Right?
of the universe. What?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have to say, other than thank you, Amy Adams. And
that guy that looks like Popeye, what's his name? Jeremy Renner?
the guy who got crushed by a snowblower
He did.
and survived to tell the tale.
He did. I forgot about that little bit with him. He does kind of.
We also thank the screenwriter of that movie, Arrival. But
that's who I would thank more so than Amy Adams.
I know. I was sort of only kidding, but
kind of got the
I don't know the person's
presence of a paper bag.
Well, we won't. We think you're very nice, Amy. We won't publish that part. But anyway, I should
I'm
know
sorry.
the screenwriter's name, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know Christopher Nolan, and then I get stuck there.
Right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's
wait,
our show. Yeah. It's your show too. Goodbye.
Goodbye.